Welcome back to the Human Nexus podcast. My name is Andrew Brazis. I am a marketing professional and private chef.
Welcome back. My name is Miss Laura Machiste. I am an online tarot reader, holistic massage therapist, and energy coach. And today we are talking all about angel numbers. Shout out to our subscriber Jessica and my Leo member for giving us this idea because why not? I feel like that is way up the alley of what we talk about here on this podcast anyway. So we're going to go over angel numbers all the way from 1 to 9. And then we're going to see what our inter experiences personally have been with angel numbers. So, Andrew, I know you love 1111.
Mhm.
When did your love of the ones start?
That's a good question. So I did I had a friend's grandmother who was very Catholic. She was giving all the kids, I say kids, we were in high school. I think it was freshman or eighth grade year or something. She did like a numerology report, and I believe I came out as an 11 when she did it. And I was like, oh shit, that's a fun number. And so since then, that's kind of like stuck with me.
Right. All right. So you're looking in the numerology of your life path number connected
Mhm.
to the angel number.
Yeah.
Oh, you getting deep into the context there. So I do very much enjoy the fact that that happened to you early in life for you to feel connected to the number 11. Because when I found out my life path number, I wish I knew beforehand
Mhm.
because I would have been a little bit more understanding of the energy. So basically, starting off with number ones, you're a life path number 11. So that's a strong indication of like a self starter.
Mhm.
Ones are always going to find you when a new door is about to open, when a new beginning is about to happen, I want to go with one and two when a new person comes in. And when we talk about two, I'll tell you why. But ones are definitely new experiences, new paths, new doors, and they're usually ones that you have yet to experience, at least from my experience with the number one. And, 1111, seeing it on the clock is, I feel like what really started people to get into like looking for numbers and
Mhm.
numerology or angel numbers in general. And I feel like as time got on, people started to connect to number two, three, four, this, that, and the other. So I personally feel like the number ones are straight new things. Ones on a self level. So I feel like numerology and angel numbers, like everything, duality, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Sometimes a sign is to alert you that something new is coming in, but ones can also give you the indication that you're in creator mode. You are
Interesting.
in creation of the new. So,
Mhm.
like for example, I have a couple numerology decks, and one of the numerology decks I have is a 111 card, and it says you are a creator. Be aware of the thoughts that you are having right now. So ones don't only bring about new beginnings, but I feel like on a self internal reflection level, they do bring about like, hey, you're in creator mode, you're in the magician's seat, let's get things moving. So I feel like I'm always talking about the duality of everything, and that's
Yeah.
just because that's just how life is. So
Mhm.
I feel like it's good to know both ways of being. Have you ever seen ones like, and I always use the word like, you'll know when a number is trying to communicate to you when you feel like it's following you like too much. When you look one way, there's a bunch of ones. You look over there, there's a bunch of ones. If you see them a couple here and there, it might not be in front of your face or like screaming at you, but when you feel like a number is like actually following you, that's when it really is trying to get your attention. So if you ever like felt followed by ones like after you figured out you were like path 11,
So initially, yes. And I think since then, it's funny that you said about like what was it, creating, like being in like that creator space. Here in the last couple of years, it seems like I'm always like changing projects or doing new things like for my personal stuff. And I can always connect like when I'm starting a new project, I'm seeing 11:11 on the clock. And I don't know if that's like I don't like I get in my head about that, because it's like, am I just looking at the same time and I'm just like subconsciously doing this? Or is that like the universe the uni, as you put it, speaking to me. You know what I mean? But lots of twos and fours and threes here in the last couple of years. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah. All right. So that I feel like is a big thing with angel numbers. And I feel like signs in general are like that. It's kind of like,
Mhm.
well, am I looking for them or am I really being talked to? And I like to feel that both are true. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, if you're looking for a sign, you'll probably see one.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are just different ways around it where you really just have to pay attention to if the number is coming in just more than usual. And I'm like a super observational person. I'm observing from the minute that I wake up to the minute that I go to sleep. So I feel like gaining that awareness and being observational with the way that you're living can help you connect to angel numbers. So that's when I'm going to get to the number two. So twos are, I would say, a person number and a
Mhm.
divine decision number. So twos like to come your way when there is a new, or I don't want to say new person. That's where I'm going back and forth with the one and the two for new people. When you see the number twos, they want you to pay attention to people in general, existing, current, past, new, all of them, not just
Relationships.
right, like your
Yeah.
connection to people.
Yeah.
Twos also rule when you'll see a lot of twos when you're like making a decision about something that probably you're like going back and forth about. Seeing a lot of twos is really strong divine decision, but I do like to indicate people. Like there has been numerous amount of times when I'm like scrolling through social media or like I'm going through bills or something like that. And I'm like, oh shoot, there's 222. And then the next day I get a phone call from somebody that I haven't heard from in forever. Or
Yeah.
I get a client that all of a sudden is now like one of my monthly people. Like it's important to pay attention to people when you see number twos.
I've had that happen a lot to where the same thing, I'll see 222, and then I'll have like a client that I haven't heard from in a while text me or call me, or like a family member reach out, which is so strange. That's consistent across my experience and yours. So weird.
Mhm. Well, that's what I feel like it is too, is there everybody's truth is real. You know,
Mhm.
like if somebody jumped on here and they're like, you're wrong, I see twos as being at a fork in the road and feeling like there's two paths in front of me. That's real for you then. Like
Mhm.
that's your truth and that's it. So like the fact that we do have a similar like perception of the truth and what we feel too from our experiences, I feel like that is a strong position to the generalization of what twos are probably telling you. So I definitely feel people with that one. And when new people come into your life, what are you normally doing? You're presented with a decision. How
Mhm.
close do I want this person in my life? How do I approach this individual or this relationship? A lot of times you'll see 222 if a past person's coming back in, and it's still going to put you in a place of making a decision. So I feel like the interconnection of the number two is a really strong energy. And I don't want to just hone in on the fact it's people, it's decisions too. Because I've had a couple experiences that I've seen from people, specifically on the year that it was 2022, February 2nd. I mean, February 22nd, that year that we had all the twos and one that we will never
Mhm.
see again in our
Yeah.
lifetime. There was a experience that was around me where somebody made a decision and it cost them their life. So don't
Mhm.
just look at twos as people. Twos are decisions.
Yeah.
And it's really important in how you navigate that because I feel like it is a strong indication for sometimes we make decisions that may not be the best for us, or we make decisions that may not or may actually be great for us. But I feel like understanding the duality of life is also going to help people understand angel numbers and signs. So, do you have anything else on the number two?
On two, no, I just want to emphasize it showing up in my life with people.
Right.
That's been the most consistent. And I guess I'm not sure about decisions for me. I haven't I this is new info, so now I will be aware and see what happens.
Right, right. Yeah. Sometimes when you get the new information, you're like, okay, now I have to see where it plays out
Mhm.
here and
Yeah.
there. And it might or it might not.
Mhm.
Like I said, everybody's truth, everyone's perception is their truth. So like I'm not I don't argue with people on that, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we never argue. But anyways, to the number three. So three is actually an interesting number because three is a biblical number
Mhm.
to religions. And the reason of that is because of the Trinity.
Mhm.
Trinity is a huge name that people use when they work in threes. And I feel like the power of three is a big energy too. I personally feel like religion gives you some indication on a metaphoric level, but they don't really tell you the details of it all. So I personally feel like 333 is, or 3 3, whatever threes in general, is such a biblical number because of our body, mind, and soul connection. And also it indicates manifestation as well. So when you, on a spiritual level, when you start to see the number three, your energy is trying to align itself, or the energy itself is trying to align you. And I feel like a lot of the times, personally, in my experience with seeing number three, for me, is that a creation of mine is gaining momentum, and I need to keep myself aligned in the vision. So when I see number threes, I don't really have an external energy for it. Threes are totally internal for me. And I personally feel like they bring about the Trinity inside body, mind, and soul, which is what you need to manifest, is what you need
Mhm.
to create. Like if your soul and your heart want something, but your mind is fighting it can't create it because the alignment's not there. So, like, for example, when your brain thinks you're going to get cheated on, your heart thinks it's going to get cheated on, your soul thinks it's going to get cheated on, a lot of the times, what ends up happening, there is infidelity.
Yeah.
So, usually those types of things are easier to align with because society creates this energy of trying to put us in fear constantly. So, it's so much easier to align with fear because it's all over. It's
Mhm.
way more difficult to align with purpose and passion and positivity because it's not what we're being fed as a society. So that's why people are scared of the number three. That's why people are scared of the number six. That's why people are scared of the number nine, which we're going to go over. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is Nikola Tesla, the person who did all this numerology and stuff like that, energy work, this, that, and the other. He believed that 369 were our most powerful numbers in the universe. And which is funny because in society, those are the most feared numbers. And, you know, as you get on the spiritual journey, you'll start to see that the things that society makes us fear probably have some type of power for us. And that's why it's instilled around fear, because if you're scared of something, you don't do it. So I
Yeah.
personally feel like that's why there is that fear revolving around them. But three, alignment, Trinity, body, mind, and soul, you're in the zone to create. So that's what I feel with number three. What do you feel?
So with seeing 333 for me has like especially in the past like 6 months or maybe even year when I feel like I'm not on the right path and then I'll have something happen and then I'll look and then it'll be 333 and then I'll be
Hmm.
like, oh shit, okay, this is I feel aligned. Like that's like for me has been a reassurance because it's happened so much and like so consistently that at this point I'm like, okay, I see, I get it, thanks. And
Right,
then
right.
that's yeah. Yeah,
Which does make
so
sense.
alignment, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, of the alignment. And I feel like threes being connected to like religious energies,
Hmm.
you know, we're talking about angel numbers. So you could feel like your angels are sending you any of these numbers to communicate. But a lot of the times, the number three gets that like divine message where it's like an
Hmm.
angel must be near me.
Yeah.
So 33 also in the body. We have 33 vertebrae in our spine. So there is also an interconnection to our being. And what does our spine do? It keeps us aligned. So
Yeah.
there's so many different like things. And like I wouldn't have been able to tell you that if I didn't like go through all the things that I went through with the body.
Hmm.
But there's always like new information, and you know, like I'm sure like next year around this time we're putting out an episode, we are probably gonna have a bunch of new information from our new experiences.
Yeah.
But for what I've gone through already with number threes, huge alignment energy, and definitely gives you a little bit of angel speaking energy, if that
Yeah.
makes
That's what I get the most of is like I feel like either like my guides or the universe or whatever is like in those moments when I'm asking for help, that's usually what comes through is 333. So
Right.
that's good.
Yeah. All right. So let's do number four. So I'm
Mhm.
actually a life path number four. So I do have a special, like nicely connection to this number. So four is all about like being grounded.
Mhm.
Four is also about my favorite word, patience. So I don't want to go too far down the line of the numbers, but this might help some understanding of four. So fours are the energy of keep on going, we're supporting you.
Interesting.
So in the numerology decks that I have, all of them, fours are all about divine support. So, like when you don't feel supported in life by the people around you, or you don't feel like your angels have been coming through like that, and you see four, like 444, 44, for this, they're telling you, like, we're supporting you, we're with you. It just might be a time of
Struggle.
possible. I feel like struggle with patience is that what
Mm.
fours give me. Like if you're waiting for something and you see the number four, your angels are telling you, like, look, you're supported, just keep on going, you don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
Mm.
Four for me is kind of like your hard work could be moving the energy, but you might not see the physical of it yet. And
Makes
four,
sense.
that's why I didn't want to like fully branch out down the line, but I feel like this is going to help it make sense to the viewers too. When a physical manifestation comes into your life, when you're about to get paid, when you're about to hit the lottery, or when you're about to win something, or when you're about to get a bonus, the number eights will be all over the place. So four is a divisible of eight. So four plus four equals eight. So when you see four, that physical eight of the manifestation is on its way. It's just not there yet. So I like to go like in the journey of the numbers. So when I
Mm.
start seeing the number four, I'm like, all right, something's coming. When I start to see those eights, I'll know it's here. So
Interesting.
and four also, any of these numbers could be connected to your angels talking to you and supporting you.
Yeah.
They're not called angel numbers for a reason, but usually angel numbers are in synchronization. So it's not just you see four, you see 44 or
Mm.
4444 or seven fours in a row. So yeah, I get support and like you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So just stay as stable as you can in your vision. That's the energy I
I've
get.
I've had that happen. So like I've talked on this podcast a lot about just some low lows, really low
Mhm.
lows that I've had in my life. And in those instances of these serious lows, and I was like, like I need something. I'm not getting it anywhere else. Like I need something to let me know that I'm like something's gonna be okay. And in that moment, I would always get 444 on the clock. So and sometimes that's 4 a.m. But it's like it's so insane how like that little thing was like, okay. For me, it always was like I didn't know it was support, but I felt supported. But for me, it was like patience. Like the thing's coming in, just keep doing what you're doing. And that it, like and I never knew that. I just like I felt it, if that makes sense. So that's crazy.
I'm so glad that you just said that because I thank God I figured it out right at number four and not at number eight. But you also want to look at the interconnection that the number, like, I wouldn't say maybe for like in the daily life when you're looking at angel numbers and stuff like
Mm.
that. But like, for example, I'm a life path number four for Cancer is the fourth zodiac sign. They rule the
Mhm.
fourth house, they rule the home.
Mhm.
So as a life path number four, where am I going to be the most abundant? Home.
Oh, interesting.
So if you are
Okay.
a life path number four and you have not already tried to work from home and all those jobs that you have had working in an office, that doesn't even mean you can still be a life path number four and work for somebody else, but still work from home. You're still in
Mhm.
alignment. But life path number fours, and I've gone through it because I haven't only just worked from home. Any job or any type of endeavor that you do that is not in the home, it will not feel as satisfying as something at home would.
Damn, that's
So
crazy.
you're an 11. So one, Aries is our first zodiac.
Hmm.
So in all technicality, you might not feel that satisfied if things get boring for you. Like you
That's
may
so
need,
true.
yeah, you may need
That's
like
so true.
I don't want to say like new excitement, but you need to
Mhm.
always just like keep your brain moving in a
Well,
way where
were we talking about this before we recorded this?
Probably. Honestly, I'm
Like,
always disassociating from like the conversation I had
yeah,
before and like putting it into like
yeah.
things. But
But
yes,
no,
you
that's
did
that's
with your
yeah,
North
that's
Sagittarius.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what it was. That's so true because I feel that to my core. Like I
Hmm.
can't, I always have to be striving for something, and it has to be a little bit different than what I was doing previously. I think that's why I like cooking and like being a chef works so well because it's always something new.
Right.
Or like doing marketing with people. Like it's always a different company, it's always a different problem.
Hmm.
Damn,
Always a
so
different
good.
aesthetic that they want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, like, if you were somebody that just had one client, like,
Mhm.
say this one company, they're like, Andrew, we're going to give you this much a year. You're going to be our only business person. It might feel good for a little bit, but
I
you
would go
will end up
crazy.
being bored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would know that immediately. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, that's good. So you like, you know, your own energy. All right. So let's go to two and three real fast before I get to number five. Two is Taurus. So if you have any twos or anything like that, there is a strong indication that there could be an interconnection to your self worth, which is why, there you go, twos and people. So, you allowing energies into your life is going to show where you stand with your own self worth. So, like, if you are bonding with somebody who is amazing, they're so nice, they're giving, they're reciprocal, they make you feel stable, that's going to feel great for you as a if you have a life path number 2 or 22. But if you're with somebody who doesn't make you feel comfortable and they make you feel like you want to rip your skin out, you're going to hate your life
Hmm.
until that energy is away from you. So, Tauruses need stability and they need to feel comfortable. So, if you have any type of energies around twos, which also, too, if you see the number two, what decision or what relationship will make you feel good? So, a lot of the times in romantic relationships, on an unevolved level, we make decisions that will make the other person happy. And then 2 weeks later, 5 weeks later, we're like, wait a minute, why didn't I decide to make my own self happy? So,
Hmm.
that's where there could be, you know, difference in things. But two's comfortability and feeling stable. Three would be ruled by Gemini. There you go, mind, body, soul.
Hmm.
Gemini rules the mental. So, strong indication of paying attention to your brain, paying attention to the words that you speak if you are life path number 3 or 33. Four, same thing. We just went over that. So,
Gosh.
we'll move to five. So, can you hear that?
It's really faint.
All right. So, number five is all about change. And I feel like five is actually another feared number by the Society of Life because everyone's always scared of change, even though from the day you were born to now, how many things have changed and how many things were you actually happy changed? So
Yeah.
I like to give that indication to people because I just feel like there is this fear of change. And it's like, imagine you were at where you were at when you were 17 years old. You would be wishing for change.
Yeah.
So big thing not to fear change with that type of energy. Fives are shifts, they're just shifts in energy, changes that are either being guided for you to take or changes that are possibly happening that you have no control over. So that's where I feel like the fear of the five comes in because it releases a little bit more control than you would want. But that's where I feel like it's good to understand that the universe is just communicating with you. Like, that's it. It's just like
Hmm.
me communicating to you. There's nothing to fear. Like, say I jumped on with Andrew and I said to you, oh my gosh, I feel a change in your energy. And then all of a sudden you were like, crap, she feels a change in my energy. I'm freaking out. Like, doesn't have to be bad. It just
Hmm.
needs to be, oh, become aware of it. So, fives with changes. I personally feel like I see fives when things change. A lot of the times I see them when I'm thinking about making a change too.
Interesting. I've seen fives, not a ton, but the few times that I can remember seeing like 555, is that? Yeah. I feel like it was around times of like massive change for me, like ones that stick out. But
Right.
that's also something that I'm not super aware of, so I'm not like looking forward or paying attention as much as some other numbers.
And sometimes a change, like for you and your perception, when you are actually observing them, it probably feels like an intense change moment. But there could be some times where the fives comes through to like guide you to a shift or guide you to a change. But, life just lifes. And I feel like fives are very strong in like things are about to change for you, whether you're riding or like you're in control of the wheel or the divine is, the changes will occur. Which I find so interesting that Leo is the fifth sign because they're fixed. But I want to give it the energy of what I said with a little bit with the number one. Leos can't be bored for too long. They
Mhm.
need some type of stimulation. Maybe they don't want their whole life to change, but they need things to continuously be exciting. So I feel like where that alignment to the fives to Leo energy would be. And I feel like with the strong energy of creation that Leo holds. Like if a Leo creates something and puts their passion and power into it, I feel like if you're watching this and you don't have any Leo in your chart, do not worry. You could still be like an energy that could be powerful. But Leos are ruled by the sun. In the solar system, they're just ahead by whatever amount of miles and whatever. So I feel like Leo, as being the fifth zodiac sign, being connected to the number five, they have the biggest energy to be able to change their lives. You know what I mean by that?
Well, yeah, I'm a Leo sun.
Right.
So my whole life has been like, I know we like things obviously change, right? But I feel like I've lived 30 different lives and I've had talks with like friends and other circles to where they're like, oh yeah, I've lived maybe like two lives because I like did this thing and I did this thing and I'm still here. And
Right.
like I just no, I can't. Like who I am a week ago is not who I am today. And that's
Yes.
consistent for me. So yeah,
I feel
strongly
the same
support
way.
that.
And I do have,
Well, say, yeah, you're a Leo moon at least. So
and I have the Leo moon and Mars in the fifth house of Leo. So it's like in the house it wants to be in as
mhm.
well. So I just feel like Leo energy with that five is in constant creation. And you're only just either creating a bunch of different things or you're just creating on the foundation that you have. But either way, the more you create, the more things shift. So I just feel
Yeah.
like that's where the fives go hand in hand. And I just feel like, don't fear the fives if you're watching this because I bet you if you did a little bit of self reflection in this moment, you'd probably be like, wow, if that situation didn't change, I probably would have been annoyed.
Yeah.
So,
Change is so good. But
mhm,
yeah,
it
I
is
love
good.
change.
And
Yeah.
why can't the next change be the change that changes your life for the better?
Mm.
So when you see those fives, don't give them fear, which goes to my next feared number, six. All right, so six takes on a whole other sense of fear because they like to say that that's the satanic number and this, that, and the other, which in my study of numerology, sixes have, it's not that they are negative. It's that six is showing you that you're being negative. So when you see the number six a lot, it's reminding you to be positive. And that's where I feel like society has gained the number of six being low vibrational because the number is going to find you when you're being low vibrational. But society just likes to make people be scared of everything. So when you see the number six, that number is saying, I can see your negativity, raise it up before you create a situation in it. So
Mm.
I feel like six is a huge reminder of shifting your thoughts and not, it's almost like, I'm going to get to the connection to the zodiac sign of the sixth house. It's almost like what you're feeding the energy, right? The sixth house in astrology is ruled by Virgo. Sixth house rules your diet. So it's the same thing when you see the number six. What thoughts are you feeding? Because if you're feeding the negative thoughts, that's basically what you're telling the energy you want to create more of. So you're going to see the number six when you have to shift, when you have to get out of things. And it's usually either your own way, your own mind, your own thoughts, your own feelings. So I feel like that's
Interesting.
why six gets a little negative vibe because it's going to find you when you're being negative.
Yeah. I feel like I mean. I think the negative Christian connotation with six is really hard for a lot of people to overcome. But
Hmm.
I think in my experience, six has been like a primal number. Like it's like your root chakra, or like your, like you said, what'd you say, food?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
yeah.
What
So
you're
it's,
ingesting.
yeah. So it's like yeah, I guess primal is the only word I can think of right now. Do you have a better word for that? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like the human
Yeah.
number.
And Virgo is the human, actually,
Yeah. Oh,
which
that
you're
makes
right on
sense.
it. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right on point. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I feel. And I feel like it's also with what you just said of that primal energy of like human energy and stuff like that. I feel
Mhm.
like it also gives a like, okay, for anybody watching this, like I grew up Christian, Catholic, whatever the heck. Whoever gets baptized and confirmed and communioned, that would be me. I was even confirmed in the church. Like I even have like a whatever middle name from it, you know? So don't come for me. Anyway, I feel like specific religions like that, they want to create fear around things so you believe in them more, if that makes sense. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Why would six be a scary number if three is the Trinity? That makes no sense. Because three
Yeah.
plus three is six. That should mean that should be super holy, right? So they just love to control. And that's what I feel like it is. It was just a control tactic because if you really think about numerology, if three is one of your most holy numbers to see, why would the divisible of it or the multiplication of it be horrible? Like that doesn't make sense. So there you go. If you're scared of the number six, just think about the number three. But that's where it goes. 369 are the most feared numbers, but the most powerful. So we're gonna get to number seven. Seven is ruled by the energy of Libra. So I personally don't feel like seven is the number of luck. After my research, after my studies, and my experiences, I see eights when I'm getting lucky. I don't see sevens. When
I
I
see.
see
I'm a nine lucky. Nine's my lucky number. So
There you go. So everyone might
yeah.
have their own thing. So, like I said in the beginning of this video, your perception is your truth. So, if
Mhm.
you visualize seven as a lucky number, it'll be a lucky number for you, right? So, seven is going to be an energy that you see when it's time to create some type of balance in your life. So, in my numerology deck, seven says spiritual development, wait, challenging times and a spiritual development that brings rapid growth. So, seven could feel lucky because it feels like a breakthrough, but that's only if you actually break through the energy. You could
Hmm.
be challenged and drown in it, or you could be challenged and face it. But I personally feel like sevens are not like your jackpot number. Eights are your jackpot number. And you might see that now. Back in the day, sevens were all over the casino. If you go
Yeah.
into a casino now, it's all eights. Eights are everywhere in casinos now. So yeah, I personally, and you'll even see it too. Like the least bet you can bet would be 88 cents or something like that. So if there's any casino goers on here, compare past casinos to casinos now, and you'll see the difference in the way they present numerology. And seven, our seventh zodiac sign would be Libra. So Libra, what is Libra going to do? Divine balance. If you're not going to
Interesting.
create the balance, we're going to create the balance. So that's why I feel like seven is a breakthrough number. It'll lead you to the luck, but it is not the luck, at least in my perception.
That's good. I don't have a ton of experience with sevens. I've never been a super lucky person. Like this has never been something that I would claim, unfortunately. But I think sevens being balance and breakthroughs, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And honestly, I was into what society thought. I thought seven was your lucky number all the time. But once I actually studied numerology and stuff like that, I was like, they're even making the lucky number the non-lucky number. Like, wow. Like, I couldn't believe how much society like does things. I just couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. So my favorite number, eight. So eights are your physical manifestation coming through. So when you see the number eight, you know that you're gonna see something physical, something you can hold, something you can have coming in. So The way to test out numerology is going to be the easiest for number 8. So if you have a job on here, or if you are a business owner, maybe like, for example, like my website that I use for booking, like it pays me out every day, but on the weekend, it pays me out on Monday, right? YouTube pays you once a month. So YouTube was actually what helped me connect to eights too. Because at first I wasn't understanding like when I was getting my payout from YouTube, but then I would start seeing the number eights. So you're gonna see the number 8 either when you're about to win money, you're about to make more money, or you're about to get paid. So what if for somebody who's watching this, if you want to like work with the number 8 for a second, if you get paid bi-weekly, right? So you get paid at the first of the month and the 15th of the month or something like that. Pay attention to the number 8 the day before and the day of that you will get paid. I bet you if you're observant enough, you'll see them all over the place. And
Interesting.
eights really help you. Eights help me believe in this stuff because I would test the universe. I'm like, okay, I only get paid from YouTube once a month.
Hmm.
And the day before, the day of, they would be all over the place. And I'm like, how do you guys know when my payout is?
That's
I've actually
interesting.
had a lot of experiences with eights too. So, like when you're thinking about selling something or doing something financially, if it's right for you, you'll see a lot of eights. Eights rule a lot of things that revolve around money, things changing, things transforming for you that could have something to do with money.
So interesting. I've had very, I haven't seen a lot of eights in my life. Like I don't know if I know a time where I've seen 888 or like in sequence like that. But I do know that when I've had serious payouts from like clients,
Hmm.
it was always around 8 o'clock. So I now I'm gonna be paying a lot more attention.
Yeah, you should. Especially like when there's something already that could be happening. Like you do chef events. So pay
Mhm.
attention to it like a little bit before that or like a little bit after or whatever. I don't know how you guys like pay each other, but whatever. Just pay attention. Eights with money. And I want to give 8 to not only Scorpio energy, even though they rule the 8th house and all that stuff, but I kind of want to give it to Sagittarius a little bit too, even though they get 9 as well because Scorpio rules like transformation, shedding old skin, and regaining new skin. And what do we do with money? We spend it and we make it.
Mhm.
Scorpio. We
That
not
is
only
good.
spend it and like release it from ourselves, spending the money would be the scorpion shedding the skin,
Mhm.
and regaining the new sense of skin would be you getting paid. I like to give a little bit of it to Sagittarius just because Sagittarius has that archer energy, which I do feel like eights could be connected to you reaching goals too. But that's also where we're going to get to the number 9. Number 9 is connected to completions of things, completion of a cycle, completion of could be even when you graduate high school or when you graduate college, you may see a lot of number 9s. Nines I did have a weird experience with the number 9. I was watching this show and somebody said they are, and I usually watch shows with a closed caption on, right? So I
Mhm.
could see, so I actually saw the number because it was in front of me. And somebody on this show said that they are 99.9999999% sure about something. So that showed up in the closed captions for me. So when I saw all these nines, I was like, is something ending? Boom, left my job of 8 years like a week later.
Damn, that's crazy.
And it wasn't even like me free will. It was kind of like you did something to me within that week that makes me want to leave
Mhm.
this job. So like
Yeah.
I didn't even see it before the 9. Nothing even happened before I saw those nines. So completion to a cycle, stuff like that. I feel like there's a hold fear with that one too. But like I said with the number 5s, how many things have changed or ended in your past that you're like, thank the
Well,
Lord
that's
it
it's
did.
that's interesting that you say that because nine is like my lucky number. When I played football, nine was my number. I was born on August 9th. Like nine has always showed up in my life and my, I don't know, struggle to complete things endlessly and always be continually growing. That's just interesting that that's what that number is because
Mm,
that's what I try to do over and over and over and over again. So,
right.
Yeah.
So to lastly interconnect the nines to Sagittarius, ruling the ninth house, being the ninth zodiac sign. When you think about the number nine and you think about Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius is ruled by the archer. So they're doing the bow and arrow. So when you like do your bow and arrow situation and you shoot and you hit the mark, you have to then walk up to the arrow and take it off, right? Like of
Mhm.
whatever your marker is at. So, symbolically or metaphorically, if you do that in life and you apply for something or stride out into new territory or take a risk on something or like kind of like something where like, all right, I'm going to shoot and I'm going to see if I score, right? If
Mhm.
you score, then what does that mean? That's going to change things.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the number nine also holds that energy of like whatever's ending probably was holding you back from that next new goal or that next best relationship or that next best career. And sometimes nine causes divine intervention too, where it just comes out of nowhere, but sometimes you actually do. And that's where I feel like people don't understand when they manifest things is that
Hmm.
if you're manifesting something that you don't already have, if there is something in that theme already in your life that doesn't resonate to your manifestation, what do you think is going to happen?
It's gotta
So
go.
right. So if I'm
Mhm.
manifesting the best job in the world, I'm gonna manifest that I make $20,000 or yeah, $20,000 a month and this, that, and the other. If the job that you are at will never get you to there and you're continuously manifesting these $20,000 months, that job will leave. Whether you leave or it fires you, because it just isn't in alignment with what you're putting out there. So
So
nines
true.
are nines. I feel like are a stern number, which makes sense. You're born on the ninth. Lucky number is
Hmm.
when you're nine. And from what I already know from what you've gone through in life, I feel like nine's definitely a big lesson learning, and that's what
Oh,
Sagittarius
dude,
rules too,
way too many. Too less. And my Sagittarius is my North Node. We talked about
right?
that earlier. Yeah.
And look at you, we even doing a reading for Andrew here.
Full circle.
Right, seriously.
But that's all we have today. We're going to be doing Oracle cards for tarot, talking about that on our next episode. Thank everybody for listening.
Yes, thank you all for coming and listening, and let us know what you feel about your interconnection to numerology, angel numbers, your life path number, and we'll see you for the next one. Bye.